my Ustad, Hadhrat Rahman Sahib, a day or 2 days before he would pass away. So there was one Mufti Nazir Minty, came to see him from Johannesburg. So those that were in Johannesburg, they would visit him more often. We also used to go once in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we used to go and visit him in the last stages. So as this Mufti Nazir went there, so he just completed his class in that ill state, but he would feel nice when he's in the Quran. When the Quran is being recited and he's teaching Quran Sharif, he will feel nice. So right about the last day, see, I'm talking of the theme of life. So when man made this the theme of his life, the spirit of his life, he found the fulfillment in that. Kama tahyuna tamutun. As you will live, will you die. He loved the Quran, so he died with the Quran. He loved the Quran, and so he did Allah willing that he dies with the Quran Sharif. He loved it, right? So I was speaking to this student of his, Mufti Nazir Minty, right? So he says to him that, ab to kabar ka sawal jawab bada aasan ho gaya. Now the interrogation of the grave has become very much easy. So he said it for the second time, and he may have said it for the third time. So then he asked him that, kuch samjhe, you understood what I'm saying? Shahzad, aap samjha hai. You explain what you passing on. He says, now the test at the grave is that deen mein kisi kisam ka compromise na ho. That don't compromise in your deeni things. Anything that is raised to your deen, don't you make any compromises. See, once we start compromising, whether within our minds, within people, within whoever, right, then one thing will lead to the other. Right? See now, when someone begins to start this path of compromise, then he creates a difficulty for everybody. Everybody is in a panic state. So, one young, I don't know how many people came and asked now in these few days, right, where they're having road shows and whatever. But now you're getting this young ulama coming up now. They want to do the right thing. Right? When they want to do the right thing, they're finding out. Now you can't just lead them, you can't mislead them. These people, these young ulama that are coming up, you can't mislead them. Because if you give them an ambiguous answer, so you're not being straight, you're not being clear. So they feel there is room for doing that wrong. If you're giving them an ambiguous answer, with that in mind, that I need to keep the unity. So now what's going to happen to this person here? See, we have lost the understanding of unity. See, every person would like unity for his family, for his town. Won't everybody like it? The government will like it for its subjects that maintain my people, they are very united. Won't they like it, right? But now, unity has got a meaning. What they will understand, what they will want for unity is, they will say, we have got a law, we have got a system, we have got a constitution, right? That's what the law will say. That's what the head of a state will say, right? We have got a law, we have got a system, we have got a constitution, right? So those that will conform to that law, to the system, to the constitution, they will say that these people are law-abiding, they are united. But now if there are a few individuals, elements that are breaking away from the law, from the system, from the constitution, right? What will you say? They have broke the unity. What do you say that? Those that are keeping to that, right? Everybody, like the home, the father will like that his children be all united, right? With the one system. What he means by being united? What he means that, see, I got a system in the house, conform to the system, and after that, the house is yours. You can enjoy, you can eat, you can sleep, right? You can rest, all that. Just conform to the system. Now, one child, he breaks away from the system of the house, right? What do we say? He's breaking the unity, right? So the father has got a system in the house. He says, for example, you see, this is the kitchen, and this is the sink. So you will wash your hands here, right? That's what you'll do. You will wash your hands. If you want to make your wuzu, this is the sink, you'll make your wuzu here. So now the child is saying, well, what's wrong? What's wrong if I make pisab there, right? Make pisab in the sink. So I ask you, will the father tolerate this? So one time he will caution him. After that, they will scold him. And if he continues, so this child is something wrong, I have to make some other arrangements for him. I need to break away from him. Will he tolerate that? No. Why? He's not conforming to the system of the house. And when you're not conforming to the system of the house, you take it personally. And you say that he's breaking the unity. Don't you say that? So the same with the deen of Allah Ta'ala. Allah wants us to keep on. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ. Just keep on to it. Now if someone broke away from the system of Allah Ta'ala, then you say he has broken the unity. Like in the house you will say the same thing. In the country you will say the same thing. So in deen also you will say the same thing. That Allah Pak has got a system. Keep to the system. Don't break away from the system. So now you're getting this young ulama coming up. Right? They got access to the hadith. They got access to the fiqh kitabs. But then they see a different system in their homes. Sometimes in other so-called learned people, they see a different system that is in conflict. When it's conflicting, so now they're wondering now, their minds are in a state of turbulence. It's conflicting. When it's conflicting, they don't know what to do. So, I don't know how many youngsters have come, young ulama have come in these past few days. Says, you know what? We had to read our namaz in a certain masjid. Right? But the imam that did the namaz, he appears on television. So, now, is it the right thing to perform namaz behind such an imam? Now that's the question. Now, on our side, we are trying to avoid any type of controversial subjects. But now, these people are coming in, pouring these questions. Should we avoid that question? It will amount to this. Say, there was a dispute, right? In a land, there was a dispute. So he's encroached onto his property, right? When he's encroached onto his property, obviously he'll want his right. So what he'll do? He will apply to the court, right? When he apply, he'll apply to the court that this person is encroaching on my property. So when he applies to the court, will the court then reply in this manner that you people are breaking the unity, get out of here? Will you say that? You're breaking the unity. Be united now. Stand as one nation now. Why are you bringing small issues? Why are you fighting all this? Why are you fighting? Will the judge say that? Will the magistrate say that? You're fighting all the time. You're breaking all the unity. So get out of my sight. Will he say that? He won't say that. Right? And if he does say that, I ask, will there be any system in that land? You're always fighting and you bring all your cases here. What are you fighting for? Just get out of here. So now, these people that are coming up, the new coming up, right, they're going to be asking these questions. When they're going to be asking this question, now it becomes our duty to give them a direction. If we don't give them a direction, we are failing. If we are meeting Allah Ta'ala tomorrow, right, on the day of Qiyamah, Allah Ta'ala will to ask us, but this person, an innocent growing up mind, very impressionable mind, he came to ask you, and you conveniently just gave him an answer that was superfluous, ambiguous. Why didn't you give him a clear direction? Why didn't you say what is haram, what is haram? Why didn't you tell him? So will we have an answer? So now they're coming and asking. So he framed his word like this. So those youngsters that came, ulama, they didn't come all together at once, different. But within this period they came. So his question to me is, how is it to perform namaz behind a fasik? So this young ulama now sometimes I have to bring them up, question them a little bit, make them feel informal, make them feel nice. So I asked him, what is the meaning? How do you define a fasik? How do you define a fasik? So he says, no, a fasik is an open sinner. I asked him then, is that the definition of a fasik or is it the definition of a fajir? So he got stumped now. He doesn't know what to say. So I told him that's the definition of a fajir. A fajir is an open sinner. A fasik is a general sinner and a fajir is an open sinner. So now I said, now rephrase your question. She said, how is it to perform namaz behind a fajr? So I asked him, then what makes you say that that person is a fajr? So I have to take it in steps. I can't just answer in one go. I have to take it in steps to open his mind and to see that that answer settles well in his mind. So he says, well, so and so he appears on television. When he appears on television now, that's not right. So I asked him, why is not right? So let him do the answering, that his mind must say that it's wrong. He says, because the cameraman is taking his photo. Whoever is taking, he's posing, right? And they are taking his photo. And now he's telling me that taking the photo of an animate object is haram, it's not permissible. Right? So then he's asking me that if you want to be speaking about this, aren't we, that argument is asking me, if you want to be speaking about this, then aren't we breaking the ummah? I say, why do you say that we're breaking the ummah if we have to speak about this? So he says, because some ulama are saying that there's a difference of opinion in photography. One is saying it's permissible, one is saying it's not permissible. So then I have to ask him, alright, so is this in the recent ulama or the past ulama? So no, this comes in the recent ulama. So let him see that's a guideline that was given by Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. Man kana minkum mustannan falyastanni biman qad mat. Fa innal hayya la tu'manu alayhi al-fitna. If you want to adopt a path, then the path of those that have passed on. Because the one that is living, he is still exposed to fitna. He can still become a subject to fitna. But the one that have lived and died one way, right? One way they lived straight, consistent, and they passed away. So can they be a subject to fitna? Fitna can't be, they'll be gone now, finished. Past the out of the examination room. So there's no test now. But you see right throughout they lived a consistent life. Now I asked him then, alright, I have to ask him, you see. I don't want to give him the answers because he must be convinced that this is the right thing. So I asked him now, alright, from those that have passed on, say 70, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, 60 years ago, 50 years ago, all that have passed on, did you find any clear guidance or directive showing that photography is permissible? No, I haven't seen. I haven't seen in any of them who said clearly that photography is permissible. So I have to take him like this, stage by stage. So I said, Dabba, you see, it's not fair of you, you know. So why is it not fair of you? See, that mine was in you, that answer was in your heart, but you wanted me to say that they do haram. The answer was in your mind, wasn't it in your mind? After I spelled it out, it was in your mind, but you want me to say they do haram. Couldn't you say that same thing? It was easy, a simple thing. You could have said it's haram, but you don't say you want to keep a very clean life with everybody, you have a good relationship, so I must get the bad name. Is that the fair thing? So, now, you can't be ambiguous in the answer. You have to give a directive. You need to understand that you're answerable in the court of Allah Ta'ala. In His presence you're answerable. And you've been ambiguous, you gave the wrong directive. If Allah Ta'ala is going to question you, how will you answer it? How will you answer it? See, I was explaining to someone, just give a little bit of snippets before I come to the main course. A little bit of snippets. What is the thing that is lacking most in this day? What is the thing that is lacking most? We're talking of the essence of things. So, in my understanding, the thing that we are lacking most today is the consciousness of Allah Ta'ala. The consciousness, just try and find out whether it's a musical tone or not, right? Well, Bilal, find out it's a musical tone, let's close it, put another tone. If wrong is happening in the open, you have to correct it in the open, don't you? Whoever does it, because if I remain silent and I saw this thing happening, and I have got a relationship with Moulana Bilal, if I don't talk about it then, is that right of me? Now these are all things that are the shari things, but we're not applying our minds. See, if we apply our minds only to the physical things. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Like you go to a place that people are over-conscious, whether in a masjid or out of the masjid, and each one will find it a duty to remind you, hey, put on your mask. So that is Amr bil Ma'ruf, isn't it? It's Amr, it's a command. So you're enjoying it, right? Because of physical reasons, because of health reasons. So because of Allah Ta'ala's reasons, can't you tell the person it's not right? For physical reasons, medical reasons, you could correct the person, you could tell the person it's not right. But for Allah Ta'ala, couldn't you tell the person that this is not right? For Allah Ta'ala. So you see how we're losing out, we're moving out of line. So anyway, we're talking about consciousness. The thing that we're lacking the most is the consciousness of Allah Ta'ala. The presentation is there, appearance is there, everything is looking nice. But when the consciousness of Allah Ta'ala is not there, then nothing can be right. Nothing can be right. And we can deteriorate after that, from one level to the other level, to the third level. We'll have situations where a person can be not fasting, but he will be appearing to be fasting. He's not fasting. But just to maintain his respect, he will appear as though he is fasting. So everything about the looks, that you look right, whether you are right or you're not right, that is not the thing. The thing is that, do you look right? What will people say? How will people look at you? So now, when you analyze the situation, what is the biggest problem? The biggest problem is the consciousness of Allah Ta'ala, the awareness of Allah, the presence of Allah Ta'ala. Allah is watching. Nobody is watching. It's not a criterion. Yes, Allah Ta'ala knows what's going on. In my heart, the bottom of my heart, Allah Ta'ala knows what's going on. I showed respect to him, a lot of ikram to him. And him I didn't show respect. He's a wealthy person, man of influence, etc. So I showed him respect. And him, alright, he's an alim, but he doesn't have influence, so I didn't show him that level of respect. So doesn't Allah know what's in your heart? Innahu alimun bidhati sudur. He knows exactly what's going in your heart. So what was the reason for this type of disparity, inconsistency? What was the reason? So this whole thing boils down to the consciousness, the awareness of Allah Ta'ala. You got the presence of Allah Ta'ala at heart, then you can't go wrong. Everything will be right. The police will be right, the judicial system will be right, the government will be right, the businessman will be right, the professional person will be right, the street sweeper will be right, every person will be right. Nobody will go off. But that is, you have the consciousness of Allah Ta'ala, the presence of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Pak is watching. I'll be answerable. Allah Pak will ask me about this. What answer do I have to give? Can I furnish my right answers before Allah Ta'ala? And you got that consciousness, that awareness that Allah Pak is there, He's watching, then you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. But minus this, what will happen? The life will be that just to make a good show. Now you got a road show. What? Why a road show? To make things, to show things that are right. To show things are right. You're showing. But whether you're right or not right, that's immaterial. But you must show that you are right.